Hey everyone, it's April here, and as you can see, I am in a hospital, and that is due to me having a stroke. So, here's the long story. I'm gonna try to make it as short, as sweet as possible. Thursday night, I was laying in bed after having a nice dinner and watching TV with my boyfriend. And we were just laying in bed trying to go to sleep. He fell asleep before I did, and I was just tossing and turning, and I normally sleep on my side, but something told me to sleep on my back. So I was laying on my back trying to get comfortable, and as I was laying there, something just told me to stay still and don't move too much, and so I didn't. And then I had an itch in my leg, so I itched my leg around 1:25 a.m. Friday morning. And then 5 minutes later, my whole right side of my body, like my arm and my leg, both went numb and limp. And then my right side of my face was tingling like it was going numb. And so I asked my boyfriend, I was like, babe, wake up. I need you to wake up, like right now. And he's like, what? I'm like, feel my arm. So he touches my right arm, and I'm like, are you touching my arm? And so he's like, yeah, I touch his arm with my left arm because I can move my left arm. And I can feel that he's touching me, but I can't feel him touching me whatsoever. And so I'm like, babe, there's something wrong. I cannot feel you touching me. You need to turn the light on. So he turns the light on. He's like, wiggle your toes. So I wiggle my toes the best I can, and my left side can move perfectly fine. The right side, however, I cannot move. And at that time, I start panicking, and I start to cry a little bit. I grab my phone with my left hand, and I call my aunt. Well, first I call my mom, but that night she ended up turning off her sound on her phone because she wanted a good night's sleep because she's been having trouble at the hotel that she's been in, so they've been having her move rooms because of the problems that they've had for the rooms that she's been in. But anyways, she had her volume off. She didn't hear the phone at all, which was no big deal. But I left her 2 or 3 panic voicemails at that time. Then I called my aunt who has medical assistant background. And so I call her. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do. Should I go to the ER? What do you say? And she's like, you need to go to the ER. I'm like, okay, let me call Brandon, my brother, and see if my dad can wake up so I can tell him what's going on, because my mom's asleep. And she's like, okay. So I call my brother after I get off the phone with her, and I tell him to go talk to my dad and tell him to get up because it's a medical emergency. And my brother said my dad wasn't waking up at all. And I'm like, you know what? Screw you. I hung up the phone with him, and then I called my dad on his phone. And I call him, and I talk to him for a little bit. And I told him, what was going on, and I'm about to head to the ER. And then my boyfriend and I, get off the phone with my dad, and I call him, I'm like, babe, we have to go. There's no question. So he helps me get dressed or change because I was wearing, booty shorts, and your girl is not wearing booty shorts to a doctor's office. So I went and he helped me put on fuzzy pants, which was a struggle because, mind you, my whole right side was dead weight, which is really strange. So we ended up he helped me go to the bathroom, and then after that we went and left. He got me in the car, and he made sure to lock up the apartment, and we left to the emergency room 5 minutes down the street. So I got there around 1:40ish. And at that time we got into the they wheeled me he wheeled me inside the ER, and he went to park, and the lady was like, I need you to fill this out. And I'm like, that has to be him filling it out because my dominant side I cannot write with, and if it's my left side, you ain't gonna get but chicken scratch and not gonna be able to read it. So she's like, okay. So he ended up, like, filling out my paperwork for me because I could not do anything. And so he managed to fill out my paperwork as best as he could. And they wheeled me back to the one room, and they decided to put an IV in, which is that one, and was able to get me a CT scan, got some blood work drawn, did what they could do there. After they did the CT, they took me back to the room, and not long after, my mom showed up and was able to see me. It took her about an hour to get there, which is no big deal. And her and my boyfriend and I were in my room talking and everything, and then a few minutes later they took me back to get another CT, but this time they put a thing called iodine in, which is a different type of iodine compared to an MRI iodine. The MRI iodine doesn't, like, burn or feel like you're burning, but the CT iodine, whenever they, like, put it in you, you feel like you wet yourself, and your whole body then starts to feel like you're burning up. And that's simply because it's normal for that to happen, because that means it's working. And so they did that at the ER, and then they took me back to my room, and like 10, 20, 30 minutes later or whatever, around like 5 o'clock, the EMT is there, and they finally, like, get me ready to transfer to UTMB in Galveston, and my boyfriend ended up having to leave to go home so he can get ready for work, because he had work Friday and he could not miss it. So he went to the house and got ready and left to go there, so that way he can be at work on time. And me and my mom stayed together. And I went in the ambulance and she followed in her car to come to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, they asked, like, the different stuff that they need to ask, and they did the neurology, like, tests and everything. Around the time that I got to the hospital, I started getting my feeling back in my arms and leg, but my strength wasn't all the way back yet. And then they did more blood work and a urine test and a few other things that they needed. And then yesterday, Saturday, September 7th, they needed me to do another, like, CT scan. Friday, when I was here at the hospital, they had me do a EEG and an MRI. And so yesterday was the day I found out I had a stroke. And there was a blood clot on the left side of my brain around this area in the back. Or towards the middle, whatever. It was, like, on the left side, though. And that explains why my right side was the side that was affected. Because the left side controls the right side of your body, the right side of your brain controls the left. But anyways, like I said, I was in the MRI and everything. That was Friday. And then Saturday they did the CT again to see how everything was going. And they've been giving me heparin shots and aspirin and a few other things to make sure I don't have another stroke while I'm in the hospital. The good thing is today I have my sensation back, so if you touch this side compared to this side, it's the same feeling. It doesn't feel any different, because yesterday it was like a 90 and 100% over here. Like, my feeling wasn't completely back on the right side. And so today I'm able to have more strength. I actually walked from my room all the way down to the cafeteria to get breakfast with my mom and my boyfriend. And then we came back up after we ate and stuff. Oh, excuse me, I haven't been getting much sleep. But anyways, we ended up doing that, which is good. But they did stay with me when I was walking, just because I did have a little trouble walking the other day. And with being a stroke patient, we are likely to fall. But I haven't fallen yet, nor do I plan to. So tomorrow, Monday, 9/9, so September 9th, They do want to do an echo on my heart and possibly an angio to make sure there's nothing like wrong with my heart and nothing wrong with the rest of my like veins and stuff, and hopefully find out the cause as to why I had a stroke. And hopefully I can go home tomorrow because I've been in the hospital for 3 days and I don't want to be here anymore. It's awfully lonely. I am actually going to be sleeping here by myself tonight and can't have anything to eat or drink after midnight for them to do the echo in the morning. So, yeah. If y'all want to know more, comment down below, like what y'all want to know more about. And I may do an update as to what caused it and what they need me to do to prevent another one. But anyways, I'm gonna let y'all go, cause it's almost like 9:20, well 8:20 actually. It feels like 9:20 though. It's only 8:20, but I'm exhausted. But I'm gonna try to get some sleep, and that way I have a little bit of energy tomorrow, because they're gonna come check my vitals a few times tonight. So in that case, I will see y'all possibly tomorrow with an update. I don't know. It may be a day or two. Anyways, bye!